Good morning, Falcons. Today is Thursday, January 30th, 2025. I'm Tommy. This is Emma, and this is your view from the Falcons Nest. Seniors, the deadline to apply for John Glenn's Universal Scholarship and Following Scholarship is this Saturday, February 1st. Please see your email from Ms. Forsman and the links to apply, and ask your counselor if you have any questions. This week's edition of Health Minute, a wave of TB cases hitting the Kansas City, Kansas metro area has become the largest documented TB outbreak in the United States since monitoring began in the 1950s. According to the State Health Department, WLFI reports that cases related to the outbreak were first reported in January last year, and there were 2 reported TB deaths last year associated with this outbreak. As of Friday, there have been at least 67 people treated for confirmed active TB infections in the outbreak, and there have been 79 confirmed latent cases in which TB is detected in the body, but it's not causing disease and making people sick. TB germs are spread through person to person through prolonged contact with someone who has an active infection. People with latent infections cannot spread TB bacteria to others, but if the bacteria becomes active, latent infection can develop in TB disease. Affected local health departments are working with each patient to identify possible close contacts and conduct TB testing at no cost. According to the state agency website, people who test positive will be further screened to determine whether they have active TB disease or latent TB infection, which will help determine the best treatment. According to the health department, the disease is curable and often treated with a standardized course of drugs that usually includes antibiotics, and that is this week's edition of Health Minute.
The National Center for Education Statistics released that 2024 National Assessment of Educational Process Wednesday morning. NAEP, which is known as the nation's report card, provides a snapshot of 4th and 8th grade students' progress in math, reading, and science, according to WVPE. Scores around the country are largely stagnant. Achievement gaps between the highest and lowest performing students have grown, and chronic absenteeism remains a significant barrier to student success. Carr said the lack of student progress cannot solely be attributed to the pandemic because scores were already declining by 2019, and the challenges students currently face are complex. NAEP can show changes over time, but the assessment does not evaluate potential reasons for those changes. This year, 59% of 4th grade students across the nation scored at or above basic in reading, and 76% scored at or above basic in math. In 8th grade, 66% of students scored at or above basic in reading, while 59% of students scored at or above basic in math. Conditions will be cold with light winds overnight, but over the coming days, temperatures will take a milder turn, which will in turn aid in snow and ice melt across Michiana. But what does this mean for ice on rivers? WSJV reports that the National Weather Service has issued a hydraulic outlook for all Michiana counties due to potential ice jams and flooding. This process begins as warmer temperatures cause river ice to melt and break apart. As ice moves downstream, it can get lodged in narrow or curved sections, creating jams. This blocks water flow, leading to upstream flooding, which can also occur behind dams. Additional melting will occur with rain showers expected. And now to weather.
Attention John Glenn students interested in running track this spring. The call out for boys and girls will be Friday during SRT.
Our boys basketball team will be back in action tomorrow night at Knox. Reminder, Knox is in the Central Time Zone. JV tip is at 6. Our freshman boys will be in action Friday at 10 a.m. for a home game. The boys wrestling team will compete in the sectional Saturday morning. Now back to lunch with Caleb.